Welcome once again to Retire Your Way with Ben Heizer, powered by Thrive. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Every single week we talk about retirement planning strategies for our viewers out there. You get tons of phone calls from the show. Also your radio program as well. You do all these events and you're the founder of Thrive. 4 kids, father of 4 kids. Obviously, you take care of your wife. Do you ever get a chance to sleep, Ben?
Well, this is why they make caffeine, Spike. But no, I mean, in reality, my passion, and because of things that I've gone through, you know, in college, Grandma passed away, left us an inheritance. We hired an advisor. We lost almost all of it. Not understanding the things about that, not having clear expectations set is why we're so passionate about empowering you with the information that you deserve to know. So that you can have clear expectations. And then you can make appropriate decisions with an expert or a professional to help you optimize the wealth that you've worked for. I mean, look, it's hard to save money. So the money that you've saved is extremely critical. And right now, man, it's been extremely volatile. I mean, we got, you know, the start, you know, here of this, you know, 2022 is, you know, the biggest, you know, drop, you know, in stock market history, and then the second biggest drop in bond market history. And why the heck is this stuff going on? I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. Like, you know, this 14-year up market is not normal. It's you know, more than 2.5 times there. But then the biggest thing that was a telltale sign that economics weren't doing very well is that interest rates had stayed extremely low. Right. And so typically what we see in the past, and why, you know, certain strategies in the past that aren't working today did then, is because when the market is high, right, usually the economy is very well, and that means interest rates are high as well. Well, what happens is when the market starts getting volatile and starts to drop, we go through a bear market, they typically lower interest rates, which increases the value of our bond portfolios. And so stocks and bonds have been there. Today, we had the all-time low, you know, interest rates. We had an all-time high stock market, and so we were in a perfect storm to see something like this. We've been trying to prepare people, shouting from the mountaintop, like,
this could happen. It could be there.
What happens to a bubble, right? I mean, if you take a balloon that's filled with helium and let it go up into the air, eventually that balloon is going to pop. We knew it was going to happen. And so how long it goes, nobody knows. That's the beauty of gambling in the market. And so that's why we want to make sure that the asset classes that we use, if we're going to be in the market, we diversify away risk through strategy, but that's money designed for long-term growth and liquidity. The money that we need for income has safe growth to it, eliminates the risk and the fees, and allows us to keep up with things like inflation inside of that world. And so we gotta be able to put these things in the right context so that, man, if you are in the wrong place here and you're in retirement or you're close to it, you're probably having some concerns, which is maybe why some of those reports that are coming out where people are fearing running out of money in retirement more than they're fearing death. It's not this thing that lasts forever. The market doesn't go up forever. It goes through cycles, and we have to understand that. We got to put everything in the right
But Ben, I know you've been talking about this for weeks, but just to recap a little bit, these have been some of the most catastrophic economic events. And those who don't study their history are doomed to repeat it, right? A lot of folks look back at 2008 as something that was just, you know, in the history books and over with. It took a long time for those markets to recover. But war around the world, rising interest rates, incredibly high inflation, and the worst stock and bond market together in 4 to 5 decades. I'm sorry, I just know that there's got to be a lot of retirees out there right now who are nervous, scared, anxious. Is it too late? Are there strategies right now that we can implement to help buffer what's been going on?
Well, we're here to prepare you. And so the choice is really up to you. If you're feeling uncomfortable with some of the things that you have going on, what that tells me is maybe the relationship that you have or what you thought was going to work, if you're doing it on your own, or the relationship with the advisor that you have, maybe isn't the right one. And that's not a put down on somebody. It's kind of like this. You know, I was in the sport of wrestling, and it's why I have funny looking ears. You can watch me get my butt kicked in the national finals if you want to on YouTube. I can't get it down. The stinking internet's great and horrible at the same time. But here's what I would say. There was a difference between my high school coaches that built the fundamentals for me that allowed me to get a scholarship to college. My college coaches sat down with me, understood my goals, my dreams, my aspirations, and then they helped me develop a plan of attack that allowed me to be successful. And so there's a difference sometimes in what people do. Folks, there's people out there that only focus on accumulation. So if you work with somebody that's like, oh, you have to be in the market, annuities stink. Or you work with somebody that goes, hey, annuities are the best, the market stinks. None of them stink. They're different tools.
Right.
It's kind of like this. You don't look at a builder. A builder doesn't take a hammer to screw in a screw. It's not the right tool for the right job. And so what we have to do, and this is why we've stayed independent and why we're so passionate, so you can have clear expectations. There are pros and there are cons, or there's positives and negative impacts to our money with each type of asset class. And there's really 3 different types. You know, we got our risk money, which we call red money, right? It's a red bucket. It's designed for growth and liquidity. It's fantastic for that purpose, but it's designed for long-term growth, the fluctuation over time.
Yeah.
It's not designed for short-term and income needs. That's not what it's for.
And that's your perspective, because
Yeah.
you do as you said, there's different kinds of advisors. You're not saying that's a bad thing. There are people who help you through your accumulation years.
Yeah.
There are people when you're in your 20s and your 30s. There are folks who, hey, if you want to talk about crypto, there are folks out there who will help you with that. But there are different kinds of advisors for retirement planning, decumulation, creating income from the assets you have, large or small. That's a totally different kind of advisor.
Well, let's talk about that. So decumulation, right? So Spike has a lot of financial experience. He's an expert in the field as well. He gets to do shows like this all over the country. But here's what I would tell you. Decumulation is a fancy word that we use. What does it mean? Spending. Accumulation is our savings years. Decumulation is our spending years when we're consuming. When you're consuming your assets, risk can double compound that negative. So if market goes down and we're spending money, we lose money faster and faster and faster. So we have to have it in the right place. Let me ask you a question. When the market drops, do you feel uneasy? If so, you may have too much risk or too much money at risk, because the money that we use for our lifestyle goals plus our fixed expenses to retire away has nothing to do with the market. It has to do with things that have no market risk. They give you upside. They give you the flexibility to have no fees, and they give you a guaranteed and increasing income like the old days when we used to have pensions. And then that allows your money to you don't have to worry or stress about running out of money in retirement. Imagine how that would feel. But then imagine how much easier it would be to go through the risk world with the money that you're not worried about needing for your retirement. That is how we can help add and eliminate the burden, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, if you will, of, oh my gosh, I'm worried about running out of money. I'm worried about that more than death. And that's a study of 2022, and we get it.
Yeah.
But folks, you can make a change. You can get the information, and you can do that. But you got to work with somebody that's not afraid to tell you, there's different asset classes that are good for different things. Let's take a look at how this works and how it models out. They have to have the technology and the team. Look, we've been in business for almost 2 decades serving and helping people. I love what I do. I get to help educate people, but more importantly, we get to help them thrive in retirement. And thriving in retirement is they get to cover their lifestyle goals. They get to cover their fixed expenses, so their paycheck and their playcheck are guaranteed. And then we get to watch them enjoy retirement, not stress about it.
Yeah.
Do you know how powerful? That is so neat to be able to watch somebody have a goal and a dream and then help them go accomplish it. Because that's our responsibility. It's what we went to school for. It's what we have expertise in. And I'm not guessing. We never guess. Opinions are like armpits. We all have them and they stink. I promise you that as we step into different technology to help aid us, it allows us to make the decisions necessary, and we can see which one optimizes your money and which one doesn't.
Right, Ben. Got to take a very short break right now. What we want to do when we come back is we're going to talk about the kinds of solutions that Ben provides here at Thrive. We know folks are making a lot of adjustments on their own when it comes to this market volatility. He sees this all the time, calls from the radio show, calls from the TV show, folks coming into the office. We want to see what kind of things people are doing on their own and how does Ben do it differently to make sure you can be and stay retired. More on market volatility when we get back, but call for your own retirement readiness review and risk report from Ben Heizer and the team here at Retire Your Way. More with Ben right after this.
Call 855-855-7655 for your own complimentary retirement readiness review and risk report. Why take unnecessary risk when you don't have to? At 65 years old, would you drive to the grocery store at 100 miles per hour if 40 miles per hour would get you there safely? When nearing retirement, are you still driving your investment accounts like you're in your 30s or 40s? Have you changed your investment election since you first chose them in your retirement accounts at work? Call Ben and his team at 855-855-7655 for your own complimentary retirement readiness review and risk report. Do you know exactly how much risk you are taking in your investment accounts? Now that you've accumulated a nest egg for retirement, you want to be certain the risk you're taking in those investments matches your goals and objectives. Call Ben and his team now at 855-855-7655 for your own complimentary retirement readiness review and risk report, or use the QR code below to begin scheduling your appointment. You may not have time to recover from taking too much risk.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Ben Heizer. I'm your host, Spike Spangle, and of course we have to address the market volatility that's been going on all throughout the year. I was hoping that it might cool down by the end of the year. It's just, it's not happening. Interest rates continue to rise. The housing market is, I don't know if I want to say the word cooling, but maybe becoming a little bit more realistic. I mean, the last year it was on fire, and for some people it was really good, and they were selling their homes on the high. That was great, but timing the markets, especially when it comes to the market, stock markets, very, very difficult thing to do. In fact, study after study shows it is impossible to do over and over again correctly. What are you getting? Let's start with your clients. Are your clients calling you right now freaked out about the markets?
No. So we don't get a lot of client phone calls. And the reason is because we've prepared. So when you have your money in the appropriate bucket, right? So we have our growth bucket and our emergency cash bucket and our income bucket. Well, this income bucket is it gives you guaranteed and increasing income. So we're not stressed about stuff. So then over here in the market bucket, right? Our growth bucket, what we're looking at is we use a diversification of money management strategies. So we have some of our money managers, like we have our chartered financial analysts, out there seeking different styles of active money management. So all that's to say is it's kind of like having adaptive cruise control in a portfolio. But what our clients walk away understanding is how much risk do you have in your portfolio? Because we tailor an approach. We know that everybody travels somewhere between 1 and 99 miles an hour in their risk portfolios. And so the faster you travel, just like driving in a car, the more risk you're taking. And the thing is that a lot of times people go, well, I got diversification. I've done this on my own. I got my money spread out in a lot of different places. What's interesting about that is we also have to look at things like, how are your assets correlated? Is it really diversifying away any risk? Oftentimes, so I'll give you an example. I had someone come in just the other day. We took a look at their portfolio. They had already looked at their current situation. Now, their risk speed between 1 and 99, when we did an analysis with them, came back at a 52. Well, what's interesting enough, this was actually the only time I've ever seen this happen in my entire life. Okay? And so this is interesting stuff. They came back at a 52. When we did an analysis of their portfolio, they were exactly driving 52 miles an hour. Never seen it.
One time,
Never seen it. But no.
All of your clients.
But this is the cool part. This is the interesting part in and of itself. They were in a passive portfolio, right? So they're traveling 52 miles an hour down the road, taking, the ups and downs the way that they come. When we took a look at it, our certified financial planner, Matt, he was able to take a look at this, and so he does some of the paraplanning things and behind the scenes, and took a look at if we diversified away the risk through 3 different money management styles, we can put them exactly at a 52, but they had less loss and they had more upside. So the thing is that we all want the concept of, let me mitigate risk when I'm in the market. Let me maximize the reward. So oftentimes it's not a matter of, hey, your current 52 had 2 points of diversification. This 52 had 33 points of diversification.
Okay.
So you're taking less risk when the market goes down, and you have more upside because of the strategy that's added around that. And most people
Right.
don't know that, and those aren't things that you should even know, but you should know the concept behind it. You should understand, hey, if I take a less step backwards and a bigger step forward, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna win more often.
Right.
We're gonna get further ahead a lot faster. And so by taking the same speed, we can actually help someone improve their world.
Can I ask you right now, especially for folks who are preparing for retirement, moving into retirement, is this a time to get out of both of those markets? Are you getting, because I've heard this before, say, oh, I'm so glad that I considered going to cash a year ago and I got out. Problem is, when do you get back in? You're not earning anything. Inflation is beating you up. So where do we go right now for a little bit of protection?
So, and Matt and I discuss this a lot. So here's the thing. It's about being comfortable with the risk that you're taking. So the strategy that's there, we have to be okay with fluctuation. If you go to cash, you go broke safely. So there's different risk when we go to cash. And oftentimes, it's proven through lots of studies, when we take our money and take it fully and go into cash, what ends up happening is we miss out on the things that are to come, and it takes our portfolios a lot longer. Now, if you need income, well, we need to use the right asset class for that. So maybe you took some losses. Well, you know, if we take a look at the appropriate types of like income products, like annuities would be like a fixed index annuity today, those accounts have gone up better. So maybe you can get a 20, 30+% bonus on the front end where they're giving you money to commit to time, and then they're going to give you a guaranteed cash flow with control of the asset to pass to your family. Well, that would be the appropriate place. What we've seen is when you put that type of asset class in someone's world, it allows the flexibility for this to grow, because the fluctuation when you're spending money is not a good thing, right? We lose money, we're locking in the loss. Now we have to reduce our lifestyle. What we don't want to do is that. And that's why we don't get phone calls from our clients freaking out about the market fluctuation, because number one, they understand their risk. Number two, they understand that they have strategies that are being employed, adaptive cruise control, that are slowing them down. And number three, that money is strictly designed for growth long term. It has no other bearing in their retirement other than growing. How would that feel to not have to worry about the income and then let your growth money do what it's designed to do and grow? Look, I've never seen a diversified portfolio with active management not be able to crush some of these things that are out there. And so maybe that's something that we need to look at, but for the appropriate amount of money.
Right, right. Can I, a side question there, when you said the word bonus, I'm just curious, what do you think would be the motivation behind an insurance company to give somebody a bonus to be using that? I mean, if I go invest in an ETF, they're not going to give me a bonus because I chose them. Why do you think they do that?
Well, an ETF is they get paid money off of fees, right?
Okay.
An insurance company makes money off your money over time, like a time commitment. So because you're willing to trade time for guarantees, they will oftentimes give you bonuses.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like a little added interest rate and saying, hey, look, we know that you're entrusting us to manage your money. Here's a little bonus that you get to use if you turn on, if you annuitize it, and so forth.
And because interest rates have gotten better in those fixed asset classes, they can afford to do those types of things, because the way that they make money in their conservative world over time allows them to build that in.
And once again, though, this isn't something that you do strictly across the board. This is a situational. It depends on what you're trying to do. And something we talk about a lot, it's what is the goal of that bucket of money. So it's not what you do with the assets totally. It's maybe just one extra income stream.
So if you need safety, growth, and income in your portfolio, annuities could be great. If you're looking for growth and liquidity, the market can be a fantastic tool. It's really the proper balance of each asset class and money that allows you to have all the values necessary to be successful. And that's what we do in our retirement readiness review. And so, you know, guys, you know, click that QR code. You know, take your phone out, click that QR code. You can book an appointment right there. Spike's gonna open up the phone lines here as well. And we are here to help you optimize your growth. Don't just survive, thrive in retirement.
Yes, we do have operators standing by, literally right now. I know you've heard that phrase before, but we do. If you call this phone number right now, 855-855-7655, we can start your own retirement readiness review. We're going to take a look at your investments, your fees, your taxes, legacy planning, which we are going to continue to talk about as well. And do you have a health plan? Not just Medicare, but you have a long-term care strategy down the road. And when you leave the Retirement Readiness Review meeting with Ben, you're going to know whether you are ready to be and stay retired. Call Ben Heizer right now, 855-855-7655. More Retire Your Way with Ben Heizer right after this.
Call 855-855-7655 for your own complimentary retirement readiness review and risk report. Why take unnecessary risk when you don't have to? When nearing retirement, are you still driving your investment accounts like you were in your 30s or 40s? Have you changed your investment elections since you first chose them? Do you truly understand the risk associated with your investments? Call Ben and his team at 855-855-7655 for your own complimentary retirement readiness review and risk report. Do you know exactly how much risk you're taking in your investment accounts? Now that you've accumulated a nest egg for retirement, you want to be certain the risk you're taking in those investments matches your goals and objectives. Call Ben and his team now at 855-855-7655 for your own complimentary retirement readiness review and risk report, or use the QR code below to begin scheduling your appointment. You may not have time to recover from taking too much risk.
Welcome back. You're watching Retire Your Way with Ben Heizer. I'm Spike Spangle. And with the market volatility, we like to provide solutions, especially for those preparing for retirement. We can talk about the numbers. We can talk about the percentages. We can talk about the ups and downs. Let's get out of the theory and talk about how you actually solve it for folks. So is there maybe somebody you've worked with recently that you can tell what you did for them?
Yeah, so recently, just sat down, and sometimes we talk about people with lots and lots and lots of money, but this is somebody that had been saving, a stewardess for a major airline, worked her entire life.
I think flight attendant.
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant is what we have to say now.
It's critically correctness, right?
Yes.
But she'd been working her entire life and saving, and the 401k was all she knew. Okay, and then she's like looking at opportunities where it's like, well, how do I take my Social Security, and how do I take this pension, and this is what I think might work better. And so
before we even hop in, she was asking you how to take her pension. Like, isn't there somebody there who helps out take the pension? That's what's so confusing.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
But no, that's not how it is, because what it is, it's designed to say, here's your options. Just like Social Security, there's nobody on the other end of the phone to say, here's how you can look at this part of your wealth and optimize it. They just say, here's the options that you have. And so you can go to ssa.gov. So they gave her a sheet. And so what we had to do was look at the differences in those income models for her, because that's going to be the baseline for her retirement. But then on top of that, what I find so oftentimes is that when people are planning for retirement, they know what their fixed expenses are, but then they don't really factor in the extras.
Okay.
The extras,
and
like
what?
And we call those lifestyle goals and dreams, but that's stuff like travel goals, right? Entertainment, like, am I going to have people over and entertain my house? Do I like to go out to eat? Do I want to go take other people on trips, etc.? Do I have hobbies that I want to go do? And so when you start digging into those things,
those are the nice extras. What about the extras like when you have to have home repairs and replacing a car today? I mean, you used to be able to get a good used car for $10,000, $15,000. Now even a used car is like the price of a new one.
It's not a good situation. But outside of that, what we find is that when people don't know the different buckets that they can put their money in. And so to simplify things, because that's what you want to know, there's 3 different buckets you can put your money in. Our growth buckets got values for growth and liquidity. And that's for our money that we don't really need for other things. It's there as a backup, and we want it to grow. Our emergency bucket is for like the tires on the car, the roof on the house, the furnace. That's our 6 months or a year of backup there that's safe and liquid. Then we have our income bucket that allows us to bridge the gap. It gives us the values of safety, growth, and then guaranteed and increasing income that we can alleviate the fear of running out of money. So that the growth money does its job of growth, the emergency money sits there for emergencies, and the income money does its job, the right tool for the right job. right?
Yeah.
We don't take a screwdriver to hammer in a nail. It doesn't work very good. So at the end of the day, folks, it's about understanding that. And so starting there, I was talking with this lady, and she was like, I think I'm going to take it here. And I said, great. Is that your opinion? Like, where did we come up with that information?
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, I think it might look better. Okay. Well, here was the drain that ended up happening. For her to wait because of her retirement goal, if she waited and did what she wanted, she ran out of money. And so she ran out of money at like age 95, and we always want to push people out to 100, and make sure that they're there. And so when we look at a plan with somebody, we don't want you to run out of money. Well, could you imagine running out of money at 95 and you're still alive and you're like, oh, what do I do now? You're not healthy enough to even go back to work more than likely. So we started evaluating that situation with her, and her thought process allowed her finances to run out because she was drawing down from her 401k. And she had way more risk than she felt comfortable taking. So then, what do? We started looking at, here's how we optimize it. By taking it the earlier thing, she actually
by taking the Social Security early and not taking from her asset. See, this is why when you always say we want to do a Social Security report, it's not so much that there are many different levers to pull today with Social Security. It's do we want to start the Social Security early, start drawing that, let your other investments grow? Or maybe do we have to work a little bit longer, delay the Social Security? That's why you do the review.
And that's why, again, to do that on our own, we had to do it on our own before, and we made the best educated and financial guesses that we could, but that's what people were doing. We were guessing. There's an opinion. Now we don't have to. We can plug it into software. We can take a look at the different scenarios and see which one benefits the best. And so for her specific situation, what was so great is that not only does she not run out of money by doing what we talked about, by just doing that, but also by getting her risk under control, she would have, $800,000 left over, where if she has additional income needs she could take, or now she can leave it to her children. That's a pretty cool situation.
Right. And so we're going to do the retirement readiness review. Unfortunately, Ben, you and I have got to take off. We've got to go do an hour of a radio show together where we got to continue to talk about market volatility. Thank you so much for talking about this. We know that this is exactly what you do at the firm. Folks, do yourselves a favor right now. You can call the phone number right here, or you can use the QR code. So I'll tell you about both. If you open up your phone, go to the camera right now and point it at the QR code. You can go take the quiz on there, a couple of questions about how you feel about risk, and at the bottom you can schedule your very own appointment right now with Ben and the team at Thrive, or you can just give us a call and we'll schedule it for you. 855-855-7655. Thank you for watching Retire Your Way with Ben Heizer. I've been Spike Spangle. We'll be back again next week. Thank you so much for watching.